project is extremely dangerous.
Hi all, it's Skip from Skip's Messy Workbench, and I want to do another update on the B9 Lost in Space robot. I have made some progress. The last time you saw that I was working on some electronics to make the lights blink, some various little things. This time I want to show you that I'm working on how to package like the chest lights, you know, where the lights are blinking, because you know there's not a lot of room inside that chest area, and I got to keep everything as small as possible. So I'm working on some packaging and how I'm going to do that, and anyway, that's what I'm doing in this video. I also have a little bit of the sound files working. It's not nowhere near finished yet, but you know the sound is actually on its way to working. So that's what's going to be in this video. It's a little bit long, and also there's 3 different segments of this video. One of them I shot way back on March the 17th, 2024. The other 2 I shot today, which is May 1st, 2024. So I kind of spliced them together. I hope it got okay. All right, so hey, enjoy, and follow me down to the shop, and I'll show you what I'm up to. Okay? See you there. Hi, what you're looking at here is, I believe, is going to be the final revision or the final version of the B9 robot from Lost in Space, blinking lights. This group of lights right here are what is called the function indicators that are on the robot, and those function indicators are, when you look at the robot chest, are these indicators right here. There's 12 of them, it's 2 rows of 6. So that's what you're seeing right here. So I'm pretty sure that that's going to be the final solution to getting those lights to blink randomly. What I did from the previous version or versions is that the previous versions were using, first of all, an Arduino Mega controller board. This version is using an Arduino Micro, and instead of using 12 outputs from the Arduino, this is only using 4 outputs from the Arduino. So I still think it's got a random enough look to it, and I'm going to probably go with this particular design. These 2 lights over here are what is called the sensor indicators. Those are the indicators that are these larger indicators on the robot torso. That's these 2 right here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them random or if I'm just going to have them blinking back and forth at a rate. I've been watching some of the Lost in Space episodes, and it seems like depending on what season you're in, depends on not only what color these lights are, but also these 2 lights, whether they're just random back and forth or whether they're repetitive back and forth. So it's an easy fix. If I decide to go either way, I want to go for that. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. this is going to be the last design. I did not include with this design these programming push buttons which are in here. Now these are backlit, but they are push buttons and not just lights. So I'm looking for a way to maybe actually make these push buttons so that when you press it, it lights up. When you press it again, it does not light up. So we'll see. I'm searching around for that. I had also mentioned that in my last video that there was a little bit of warpage in this torso, and the warpage comes in the fact that when I put the two halves together, they don't match well here at the seam, and they don't match well in the sense that there's a little bit of a twist to it, and not much, and I could probably get around it easy when things are glued, but I also don't want to be gluing anything up yet. I also don't even want to be painting this yet until I get settled on how much electronics I'm going to put in here and the amount of room, because I want the torso to rotate, you know, just like he does, and I'd like it to rotate 360 degrees, but in order to do that, I have to be careful how the wires are routed. So anyway, that's where I'm at with this project. I had said this before, this is not going to be done in a short amount of time. This is something that's going to take a little while, and that's okay. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. I mean, my background is electronics and industrial control systems, and it's kind of really neat to be able to incorporate the electronics and the control aspect along with my passion for model building. So I'm having a ball with this, and I hope you guys or gals, you know, follow along and enjoy it as much as I do. So that's where I'm at this point, and yeah. Hi, it's Skip from Skip's Messy Workbench, and I'm going to do an update on the B9 robot that I've been working on. I really have not started the assembly of this robot yet because I want to get the electronics kind of flushed out as far as how I'm going to do things. Now you're looking at the chest portion, the mid-chest portion, where the function indicators are. I believe that's what they're called. Let me get the actual name for these indicators, because there is an actual name for them. Yeah, so these right here are function indicators. These square holes are the programming switches. Now, I've been looking around for small, little tiny switches to put in there. I have not been able to find any, and chances are I probably won't be finding any, and that's okay. That's fine. But they do light up. And then these two are what's called sensor indicators. So I've been working, and I showed you in one video, I have the blinking stuff working on it. But then now I've been working on, okay, how do I get this stuff mounted in there? So these holes will accept 3mm LEDs. So that's what's here. This is a 3mm LED. It's 3mm in diameter. And they fit very, very nicely in those holes. As you can see, they fit really, really nice in the holes, which is really nice. I mean, it's a great thing that they fit. Now, side by side, I'm going to probably have to do a little bit of sanding on them just to take the ridge off of them so that they can sit side by side. But the other thing is then is how to get them in there, you know, and how to get them wired conveniently. So fortunately, let me back up a little bit here. This is what is normally mounted in there. This gets mounted up behind here, and you can see that they're clear holes. Now, naturally, I can't use this, but I am going to use this part of it. So I'll be cutting this right in that area so that I can still use the square programming clear switches. Now they are solid on the back, and I'll show you the idea later that I have for that. So what I did was, thinking about this grid and how I was going to wire those LEDs, I came up with a printed circuit board that I had made, and I made this printed circuit board. Now, I personally didn't make this printed circuit board. I have them made, and they're actually really cheap. I use a program called Easy EDA to do the schematic, and I'll show you this. Actually, I'll have the schematic on my website. I could show it here online too. And then from that software, you can make your own PC boards. So the LEDs will go into these holes. So you see here, and let me get the coloring right, the way I want them in color. So the this bottom row, we're going to have blue. And again, if you can see it, there's a square hole or a square pad. That's the cathode of the LED. So the cathode of the LED on these is, and I'm having a hard time seeing it, is the short lead. You can see that there's a long lead and a short lead. The short lead is the cathode. So the cathodes are going to be pointing on or in those square pads. So we put the LEDs in so that they'll set on the board. So it's going to be blue and amber and then red and let me stuff these in here. You don't have to be with me to do this. Let me stuff these in there and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back here, and you can see I've got those LEDs all put in there. Now, naturally, they're not soldered yet, because when I do solder them, I want to make sure I get the curvature of this body. Now, what this board will do is this board will then mount up in here like this. So that the LEDs come through. And then what I'm going to need to do for soldering this then is to push these all in so that they're all in the right, coming through at the same height. And then I'll get them all soldered in, and you know, that'll finish that off. Like I said, I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of sanding on them to get them to fit properly in place. So that's that. And then also on this board, let me take this board out of here again. Oops. The other LEDs that go up for the programming switches are also the 3mm LEDs. However, even though they mount well in the board, so there are places for these in the board. I know my hands are in the way here, but this stuff is really small and the angle I'm working. So these will get mounted in there. However, because I'm going to be using the square clear lenses on them to keep them square, my plan is to use a small tube to cover the LED, or to put around the LED. And I had some here. Yes, I think it's in this box here. Let me just... And they're not cut the size yet, but this tube, the inside diameter of that is 3mm, and that will slide over the top of that, and then that will sit on here in order to focus the light on that square object. So that will be there. And then these two sensor indicators are 5mm LEDs. And the 5mm LEDs are this size. I think you can see the difference in size. And they will also mount right in to this board. Again, my hands are in the way because I'm working with some pretty small stuff here. And there's the other one. And I'm working without a magnifier, so just like that. And then this whole thing gets mounted up in here, and the circuitry will then get in the back. Now, in order to do this, this board is very, very tiny, and you can see my hand, it's tiny. It's got a lot of components on it. So each one of these LEDs requires a current limiting resistor. So there wasn't a lot of room to put a standard, what I would call a fairly standard resistor. Most people, even if you're not into electronics, know what they are. Here's a 1/4 watt resistor. Let me see if I can. Here's a 1/4 watt resistor, and I have to get one resistor for every one of these LEDs, which is 12, and then 10 is 22, 24 of them. Well, there just wasn't enough physical space to do that. So I made a second PC board just for the resistors. And the way I plan on doing this is, first of all, the resistors are going to be surface mount. So let me get these out of this bag. And I have never hand soldered surface mount components, so this is going to be interesting on my part. But here are surface mount resistors. Each one of these little squares right here is a resistor. And they will get mounted on this board like one will go here, one will go here, one will go here, one will go there, and so on and so forth in 2 rows. And then I'll be putting these headers on this board. And the headers will go on through these holes, one on each side. Again, I'm at a bad angle here trying to stay on camera. So the headers will get mounted on there like that. And then on this board, we'll have the female or the socket part of the header, and they will get mounted in here. I won't put the one on the, there's one on the other side. And then what happens is that this board will sandwich, so that that'll sandwich together and make an assembly that can be mounted up in the chest area of the, in that whole chest area. So that's where I am on this, and I have not tested this, by the way, on these PC boards. So I wanted to show you what I'm up to here, and I'm going to get this done, and hopefully I can have this assembly at least working at the end of this video. If not, I'll just shoot another video later. But this is one of the things that I've been working on for the B9. The other thing I've been working on is getting the sound to work. So let me pause this again, and and let me demonstrate the sound that I'm working on, and it's still in the breadboard stages, and I'm still just working on it yet. I'm in a learning curve on how to do sound with small little parts like this. All right, so I'll be back in a second for you. All right, we're back here, and you can see here the I have this breadboard. There's a Arduino Micro, and this is a DF Mini MP3 player, and in that player is a small SD card, and on that SD card is where sound files reside. So this right now, this is just a breadboard. It's just built up. I got a speaker out here. This required a separate power source, so I just used 3 AA batteries in here to power the MP3 player. The Arduino at this point is being powered through the USB port on the computer, so that when I'm going to press this button over here, which is the reset button, and when I press the reset button, after a small delay, it should play one or two voices. So you could hear that I do have voice working, but it's not working the way I want it to work yet. And also, I've been experimenting with, how I'm going to get the mouth of the robot to, blink and move with the audio. And I've watched some videos on YouTube and online and other sites of people who can make LEDs turn on and off with sound and with music. However, I have not been able to get it to implement properly with my setup. So I'm working on that also, and well, I'm working on it. So that's where I'm at so far on the B9 robot. build. Still doing the electronics, and because I'm also in a learning curve, like I know the Arduino, but I never used the MP3 player. I had to teach myself well, I didn't really have to teach myself. I've already done it, but I had to come up the curve again on how to produce a PC board out of easy EDA. And so, you know, I'm having fun. And you know what? Anybody who likes this hobby of model building and likes to add electronics and lighting to it can also have a lot of fun with this. Now, the other thing that I've been experimenting with is up in the brain area, and I don't think I have the brain taken in a condition where I can show it. However, what I'm doing is, in order to get the lights up in the brain area, the area, you know, where up in the bubble head, well, there's not a lot of clearance up there. So, in fact, it's 3mm LEDs. I mean, they don't fit. I would have to pretty much really sand them down to make them fit. So, I have started experimenting with some fiber optic. Now, this is fiber optics. There's no way, I don't think you're going to be able to see this on camera, but this is 0.25mm, and actually, again, I don't think that's seeable, but that's the fiber right there, 0.25mm. This is going to work, but 0.25mm is much too small for what I want. So I have different size of these fiber optics on order, and actually I think they just came in. So I have 0.5mm, 0.75mm, 1mm, 1.5mm, and 2mm, so that I'll be able to take and mount the LEDs in the chest area and run fiber optic up through the head and into the brain area of the robot, so that I can get those lights. And then there's those finger lights that are up in the head area, and the finger lights will also then get their own fiber optic tube so that they can get lit up. So I've got a lot on my plate here with this, but again, I'm having a ball. I'm learning a lot, and I love learning new stuff. So again, that's where I'm at with this, and I'm gonna just stop this video at this point because because it's getting long, and I'm trying to keep things a little shorter than I've been doing in the past. So anyway, if you like what you're seeing here, smack that subscribe button and ring the bell so that you get notifications when I have new videos. And you should know by now that I don't release a lot of videos, so it's not like I'll be bothering you a lot. So anyway, thank you again. I want to thank all my subscribers. I want to thank all my guests. I love the comments, and well, I just kind of don't know why everybody watches these stupid videos. As one of the other modelers out there says sometimes, why do people watch these stupid videos? I don't know. I watch other people's videos. Why do I do that? Actually, I do it to learn, because I learn from other videos. Actually, I produce these videos because I enjoy doing it, but also I think it helps the community, and we have a really great community of hobbyists. I want to call them hobbyists. They're model builders, but we're also hobbyists because we do things outside of the box. All right. So anyway, I'm rambling on as I always do. So I'm going to end it here. Thanks again. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. Give me a thumbs up even if you don't like what you see. It's good for the algorithm. Smack that subscribe button, ring that bell, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.